Hi everyone. Today I want to talk about how to learn Visual Basic for applications. The purpose of this video is not to talk about the merits and the demerit of working on VBA. I'm assuming that if you intend to learn it, you have already made up your mind and you realize that it is important to your work. Should this be the only language that you learn? Should you invest a lot of time in learning it, or should you invest a little bit of time? These are questions that you have to ask yourself. Speak to peers in the industry, look at your job profile, and try to relate it to the requirement that VBA can fulfill. Is VBA going to be a replacement for automating work on, let's say, R or Python? That is a different discussion, and that is not the purpose of having this video. The purpose is that those of you, especially B School students, who probably have not had the opportunity of working on VBA, to see what it is and what is the right approach to learn it. My name is Havish Madhupati. I run an analytics firm called Havish M Consulting. I've been working with Excel since 2000, so I've been working on it for over 20 years. I have authored 20 books in analytics. I have multiple courses on Excel, and I train both corporates and B schools. I also work on other platforms. I work extensively on Power BI and Tableau, and I do a little bit of my work on Python R9 as well. Interestingly, I come from a non-engineering, non-computer science background. So even though I was very good with Excel, I only started realizing the importance of coding in 2013, 2014. I had hit a ceiling, which means that I was very good with Excel. I had started my first corporate stint, and I was always way ahead of all the others. Much more efficient and much more capable of creating better analytics and visualizations. But then I realized that there is a ceiling which I cannot cross unless I learn programming. So I decided to start learning VBA. And even though I was very passionate about it, it wasn't easy, right? Because for a complete non-IT guy, I did not know where to start. And back then, even though there were a few online courses, there weren't a lot of them, at least not good ones. Today, the landscape is different. We have easier access to courses and a lot of videos on YouTube, which we did back then as well, but not too much. So I did it the hard way and the way that I understand the best. I started reading books. I would be lying if I said that I understood a lot, but I persisted and I persevered. And then over a period of time, I think it took me a year and a half or 2 years, it started to add up, it started to make sense. And even though I would do very silly, small things, I realized that if I start this journey now, in a few years, I'll get the hang of it. And I absolutely fell in love with it. In 2019, I was listed as a 40 under 40 in analytics by Analytics Insight. And that was for my work done in Excel Visual Basic. So clearly, I've invested a lot of time and effort in this, and I would love to share my journey with you. First off, for those of you who don't know what Visual Basic is, Visual Basic is a programming language, while VBA is Visual Basic for applications. So this difference is very important. If I show you the difference between VB and VBA, you will see that VB was used to make standalone executable applications, while VBA was primarily meant for programming on Office applications like Word, Excel, Outlook, PowerPoint. That means that the IDE, which is the Integrated Development Environment, whereas a programmer, you will be writing the code that is there inside the MS Office application. And this has been there since the beginning. And every version of Microsoft Office has this, except the online version. VBA does not work online. So remember, it is not just on Excel. VBA is available on PowerPoint, Outlook, and Word as well. Even though only 0.01% of codes are written for other applications, it's mostly done on Excel. And how do you activate it? To run VBA, we need the developer tab. And for this, you have to click on File, Options, select Customize ribbon, and then enable the developer tab from here. Why is it that this is not enabled by default? Like it says, it's the developer tab, so it is only meant for developers. And the common advanced Excel user probably does not know coding and would not really know what to do with the developer tab. That is the reason it is not enabled, and you have to enable it manually. You only have to do it one time though. So the first time you enable it, it gets enabled for all your Excel files. But it has to be enabled separately for PowerPoint, Word, and Outlook. We press OK and the developer tab appears. All right. If you can allow me a minute, I just want to make sure that one of my add-ins is enabled. All right. If you can all see, I have a tab called Havisham Consulting. This is something that I have created. And all these commands that you see, convert formula to values, remove all spaces, different types of formula operations, and navigation. These are all VBA codes that I have written. So these are not created by Microsoft. These have been created by me as a developer. Now, why do we need to do that? For two reasons. Reason number one, there might be a way to perform an operation on Excel, but it might be very time consuming and repetitive. So if you want to automate it and reuse it and make it more efficient, you need VBA. And there are certain things that are not even possible on Excel. That means you can't write a formula, use a function, or click on a button to do that. And that is where VBA can help you. As an example, if I have written 1, 2, 3 ABC and I've written 1, 2, 3, 4 DEF, and I ask you to separate the numbers, it is not possible to do that. We cannot use the left function because the number of characters is not the same. Hence, I have created my own function called HMC text extract number. And it just takes one argument and it separates the number for you like this. So ask yourself that if you had to do an operation like this, how would you have done it? Because Excel doesn't have this capability. So you end up doing it manually or maybe using flash fill. But VBA gives you the ability of creating your own functions. Let me give you one more example. If I have 10 sheets with me, and I want to create a table of content, I can click on navigation and select table of content. And it automatically creates a table of content with a list of 10 sheets with a hyperlink. So imagine how much time this can save you if you were doing it manually versus being able to do this in a single click. All right, so that is what VBA does. And the question is, how do you learn it? So this is the approach that I would follow. You can record VBA And then you can copy and paste and reuse VBA. Let me show you both of them. Every operation that we perform on Excel can be recorded in the code format. That means that if I make it bold, or if I change the color or add an outline or create a chart, every operation can be recorded. To do that, click on Developer and select Record Macro. There is also a distinction between VBA and a macro, which I'll explain in a bit. So record macro says that it will record each of the command that we perform so that I can replay them over and over again. So we click on record macro. Let's just call this test, and I click on OK. If you notice, this button has changed to stop recording. And this means that every action that I perform will be recorded in a VBA format. For example, if I select and make it bold, if I go to the next sheet, and let us say I change this color to blue, and maybe I insert a new sheet. So there are these couple of operations that I performed. When I click on developer and stop recording, all these operations have been recorded in a VBA code format. And how do you see that? You click on Visual Basic. On the left side, you have to identify the workbook that you're working on. So right now I'm working on book number 3, and a module has been created, which is module 1. If you double click on it, you can see that this is the code that has been recorded. If we walk through the steps one by one, we selected A1 and A2. We made it bold. We selected the content sheet. We selected B1. We changed the color and we added a sheet. So like this, every action that you perform, every formula that you write will be recorded by VBA. Of course, if you want to modify it, let's say you don't want it to be bold, you can change it to false, and you can change it like this. So this is an excellent way of understanding how VBA interprets actions. That means that every single command that I have and every operation that I perform, there would be a parallel VBA code that runs in the background. But what if I do something like this? I have written, hello, how are you? And we select developer, record macro, and I call this test 2. In review, I will translate it, and we will translate this from English to, let's say, French. This is what we have. Copy, come back and paste it, and it gets pasted like this. Now ask yourself, do you think that this operation will be recorded? If I click on developer and stop recording, let us go back to Visual Basic. You will see that it says a2.select, it says active sheet.paste, and it says this is the value I pasted. Ignore all the other things. So if you notice, it is not really able to capture that translation, because the translation is something that is working in this pane on the right side. So obviously, that part where it is translating from English to French cannot be recorded. Because if you notice this pane is like a web page, which is running on TypeScript, another conversation for another day. But you have to understand that there are certain things that might not be recorded. But most of the operations that you perform, adding a column, writing formulas, creating a pivot, modifying a chart, all of these operations will be recorded. Talking a little bit about what is VBA and what is a macro. VBA is a programming language which is event driven, and it was declared legacy in 2008, but that does not mean that it is dead. It just means that Microsoft is not really supporting it anymore. but it still is very much active and it will be there for the next many, many years to come. So VBA is what is the programming language with which we can write programs on Excel. And macro is a computer science term, which means that it is a rule or pattern that specifies how a certain input should be mapped to a replacement output. So even though a lot of business users consider macros and VBA to be interchangeable, as a matter of fact, even in Excel, it says record macro here. Remember, macro is a generic term. It just is a computing term, and you will have macros in other languages as well. So you'll have macros on C and Python and R and JavaScript. So it's not something related to Excel only. It's just a term that says that it will convert an input into an output. If you look at the code, it says sub. And the sub is what is a subroutine. That means a subroutine again is a programming term, which is a sequence of program instructions that perform a task which is packaged in the form of a unit. So see, for all of you who come from a non-coding background, it might seem a little overwhelming in the beginning, but that's okay. You don't really have to understand it to utmost depth, but at the same time, you have to be curious. If you see something that you don't understand, do a Google search, read about it, and try to layer your learning one by one. And over a period of time, you will see that you increase the depth of your learning. If you expect to learn everything in a short span of time, that's not going to happen. VBA is a programming language, which means that like any other programming language, you have to be committed to it and you have to work very hard to learn it. The other way to learn VBA is to just search for VBA codes. If you know what you're searching for, let us say we want the code that will create a table of content. I can just type VBA code 2. This is how I start a query on Google, and I can write, let's say, create a table of content. There are thousands, not tens, not dozens, not hundreds. There are thousands of VBA codes available on the internet. Since Excel has been there for 35 years and millions of people around the world work on Excel, you have so much content available on the internet. As you can see, I have several links available. I click on the first one, which is building a table of content. Click on it. And as you can see, you have the entire code available here. And that's it. You just have to copy and paste it, and it will do the work for you. Another way to search for ready-made codes is to just type top VBA codes. There are some links that you have. So top 100 VBA codes, 100 VBA macros, 24 macro examples like this. What you can also do is to go to Reddit and search for VBA codes, and you will find that Reddit has a VBA section where it's a very interesting forum, and there are a lot of practical discussions happening on VBA, and you will find a lot of codes available here. Other things that VBA can do, it can also create user forms. Let me give you an example. This is a project that I had done for a manufacturing company a couple of years back. And this is how it works. This is an Excel file. And if I click on the vendor master, I can see details for different vendors. I can also find a specific vendor. I can open my purchase order and search for a specific order number. And if I click on print, it will automatically generate a PDF for me like this. Very cool, right? So this is almost like a pseudo software that we have created that works on top of Excel. These are called user forms. So you can just search for VBA user form. And this is how different types of forms can be created. So you're essentially trying to replicate a software, and this runs not as an independent file, but it runs on top of Excel. Right. So I've given you a background of what is VBA, why is it important. So especially if you're in finance, VBA can be very, very important for you. And see, the interesting thing is that while not in a lot of job profiles would you see that organizations say that they need Visual Basic, it's a skill to have. Like if you have the skill, you will always have an upper edge compared to other people, and people always acknowledge the skill. It is practical. It helps you become better at what you do, and everybody is going to give you brownie points for having this skill. So a lot of people say, why do you advocate it so much when I don't really see a lot of people talking about it? It's in a very interesting space. It's programming for Excel users. And especially as B school students, you guys are going to become managers in product and brand and HR and analysts. You will not necessarily work in programming, right? And that's where the intersection is there. You have to be a business user who has to solve business problems, analyze data, but not an IT guy. You're a business user who also needs to know a little bit of programming. And that's where VBA fits in. All the consulting firms in all the big fours work on VBA extensively. And even though there are certain discussions about whether VBA will survive, rest assured, VBA will be there for the next 20 years as well. Yes, there will be invariably other things that come up. For example, TypeScript is a language based on JavaScript. And now TypeScript works on Excel, which, as you can see, is considered to be a VBA killer. That's a fairly dramatic statement. It's a VBA killer, not in the sense that VBA is going to be discontinued. But yes, the future of Excel is going to be scripting on TypeScript. So you can Google it. All these links I'll be sharing with you in the video description. That's all from my side. I hope you have fun learning VBA. Do not give up. As a student, it's very important to manage your time well, but any time that you invest in VBA is definitely worth it. And that's from personal experience. Having taught at different business schools, I understand there's a lot of confusion around should I or should I not learn it? And I hope that question is answered and you have a little bit of clarity on what is the right way to go about it. All the very best. And for any questions, you can get in touch with me. And I hope you have fun watching the other videos on my YouTube channel as well. Thank you.